In recent years, Poland has been rapidly transforming into a formidable military power in Europe, much to the discomfort of its neighbor, Russia. The balance of power in Eastern Europe is shifting, and Poland is emerging as a key player, challenging Russia's traditional dominance in the region. In this video, we'll explore how Poland's military buildup is altering the geopolitical landscape and why this development is causing significant concern in Moscow. Could we be witnessing the start of a new power struggle in Eastern Europe? Poland and Russia share a long and tumultuous history marked by numerous conflicts and shifting power dynamics. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, Poland has embarked on a path of rapid economic growth and military modernization. The country joined NATO in 1999, a move that significantly bolstered its security and aligned it with Western powers. Poland's transformation from a post-communist state to a rising military power in Europe is one of the most remarkable success stories of the 21st century. The historical context is crucial in understanding Poland's motivations. For centuries, Poland has been sandwiched between powerful neighbors, leading to a strong emphasis on national defense. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was once a dominant force in Europe, and today, Poland is seeking to reclaim its position as a key regional power, particularly in the face of renewed Russian aggression. The turning point in Poland's military ambitions came in 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea and began supporting separatist movements in eastern Ukraine. These actions sent shockwaves through Eastern Europe, particularly in Poland, which has long viewed Russia as a potential threat. In response, Poland began significantly increasing its defense spending and modernizing its military. By 2023, Poland was spending 4% of its GDP on defense, one of the highest rates among NATO members. This surge in military investment is part of a broader strategy to ensure that Poland is prepared to defend itself against any potential Russian aggression. Poland's leaders have made it clear that they are not willing to rely solely on NATO's collective defense and are determined to build a military that can stand on its own. Poland's military modernization has been nothing short of impressive. Historically, Poland relied on Soviet-era equipment, much of which was outdated and poorly maintained. However, over the past decade, Poland has been systematically replacing this equipment with state-of-the-art weaponry from Western allies. One of the most significant acquisitions has been the purchase of 32 fifth-generation F-35 Lightning II fighter jets from the United States, which are set to be delivered by 2030. These jets will give Poland a significant edge in air combat, particularly against Russia's own fifth-generation Su-57 Felon jets, which have been plagued by production delays and technological challenges due to international sanctions. Poland has also invested heavily in ground forces, acquiring 250 M1A2 Abrams tanks, 1,000 South Korean K2 tanks, and a range of modern artillery systems, including the HIMARS rocket artillery system. These investments are designed to ensure that Poland can not only defend its borders, but also project power across Eastern Europe. Poland's military buildup has significant implications for the balance of power in Eastern Europe. A stronger Poland directly challenges Russia's influence in the region, particularly in the Baltic Sea and along the NATO-Russia border. Poland's military investments are aimed at deterring Russian aggression and ensuring that any attempt by Moscow to expand its influence westward would be met with significant resistance. For Russia, this development is deeply troubling. A militarily strong Poland could effectively block Russia's ambitions in Eastern Europe, particularly its efforts to exert control over the Baltic states. The presence of US and NATO forces in Poland further complicates Russia's strategic calculations, as any conflict with Poland would likely draw in the entire NATO alliance. The rapid rise of Poland's military power raises the question of whether we are witnessing the emergence of a Thucydides Trap scenario in Eastern Europe. The Thucydides Trap refers to the idea that when a rising power threatens to displace an established one, conflict is often inevitable. In this case, Poland's growing strength is causing significant anxiety in Russia, which could lead to a military confrontation if Moscow feels its dominance is being seriously challenged. However, unlike historical Thucydides Trap scenarios, this situation is complicated by the presence of NATO. Any Russian aggression against Poland would trigger NATO's collective defense clause, potentially leading to a wider conflict that Moscow may not be prepared to handle, especially given its struggles in Ukraine. One of the most critical aspects of any potential conflict between Poland and Russia would be the battle for air superiority. Poland's acquisition of F-35 fighter jets is a game-changer in this regard. The F-35 is one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world, with stealth capabilities that make it difficult for enemy radar to detect. In contrast, Russia's Su-57, while faster and more maneuverable, has faced numerous production issues and is available in much smaller numbers. The F-35's stealth capabilities would give Polish pilots a significant advantage in any air engagement, allowing them to strike Russian targets with minimal risk of detection. Additionally, Poland's growing fleet of modern air defense systems, including Patriot missiles, would make it difficult for Russia to establish air superiority over Polish territory. While Poland's air force is rapidly modernizing, the balance of power on the ground remains heavily tilted in Russia's favor. The Russian military is one of the largest in the world, with over 3.6 million personnel. In contrast, Poland's army, even after planned expansions, will have around 300,000 personnel. However, sheer numbers do not always translate to battlefield success. Poland's investment in modern tanks and artillery systems, combined with NATO's superior training and logistics, could level the playing field. Moreover, Russia's experience in Ukraine has shown that its military is not invincible. Logistical issues, poor command structure, and outdated tactics have all hampered Russian operations, and these weaknesses could be exploited in a conflict with Poland. One of the most strategically significant areas in a potential Polish-Russian conflict is the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad. Located between Poland and Lithuania, Kaliningrad is heavily fortified and houses a significant portion of Russia's Baltic fleet, as well as nuclear weapons. Any conflict between Poland and Russia would likely see Kaliningrad play a central role. The Suwalki Gap, a narrow stretch of land between Kaliningrad and Belarus, is considered one of NATO's most vulnerable points. A Russian offensive through the Suwalki Gap could cut off the Baltic states from the rest of NATO, forcing Poland into a defensive position. However, Poland's modern missile systems, including HIMARS and the South Korean Chunmoo, would be crucial in targeting Russian supply lines and command centers in Kaliningrad, potentially neutralizing this threat. Poland's military strategy is closely tied to its membership in NATO. The alliance's collective defense clause means that any attack on Poland would be considered an attack on all NATO members, including the United States. This serves as a powerful deterrent against Russian aggression, as Moscow would be facing not just Poland, but the entire NATO alliance. However, NATO's response to a potential conflict in Eastern Europe is not guaranteed. The alliance has been criticized for its slow decision-making process and the varying levels of commitment among its members. Poland's leaders are aware of this and are working to ensure that their country is capable of defending itself, even in the early stages of a conflict before NATO forces could fully mobilize. As Poland continues to strengthen its military, the geopolitical landscape of Eastern Europe is undergoing significant changes. The growing tension between Poland and Russia could lead to a new era of rivalry in the region, reminiscent of the Cold War. While direct conflict may not be inevitable, the risk of escalation is real, particularly as Poland becomes more assertive in its defense policies. For Russia, the rise of Poland as a military power poses a serious challenge to its ambitions in Eastern Europe. Moscow will likely continue to seek ways to counter Poland's influence, whether through military posturing, cyber warfare, or attempts to undermine NATO unity. Meanwhile, Poland will continue to build its military capabilities, aiming to deter Russian aggression and protect its sovereignty. Well, what's next for Poland? The rise of Poland as a formidable military power in Eastern Europe is a development that has significant implications for the region and the world. As Poland continues to build its military and challenge Russia's dominance, the risk of conflict increases. However, with NATO's backing and its own growing capabilities, Poland is well positioned to defend itself and contribute to the security of Europe.